Well, happy Thursday. We are here at Maryland at Laurel Park, just making up for the day off that we had
Yes.
on Sunday, cancellation of Sunday's card. But now we're back here, 4-day weekend. I'm Callie Francois, your host with Keith Fustel. To my left, Keith, how was your week leading up to it?
It's good. It's good. Busy. Got some stuff done around the house, and yeah, back on a Thursday.
Back on
I was
Thursday.
talking to my man Action Andy this morning. I said, "What day is it again? What day is it?" Yeah,
Right.
okay, just that little reminder to get out here to Laurel. We got racing to do. Yeah, some extra
do.
morning lines and some extra videos to send out. But looking forward to it. We got through last weekend. Obviously Sunday, a little too hot. But Saturday, I just want to say thanks to everybody who was here and made that card go as smooth as it did. Everybody helping out, a great team effort from top to bottom. Saw Georgianne Hale, saw Phoebe Hayes out helping out with the horses and keeping them cooled down after the races.
Yep.
So to everybody who was part of that and made that card go, great. We appreciate it. And for all the bettors that took part, we thank you as well.
Took part in it, having a nice day here on Thursday. But let's take a look at that track to see what we've got going on. Track is fast, turf is firm. It was a bit muggy this morning, but to me it has cooled off a little bit. That humidity has cooled off. We'll see how that tempers a little bit later today. Not much of a breeze or a wind there, but we're going to go ahead and check on over to our race number one, our maiden claiming 35.5 for the 2-year-olds. You land on number 4 Cavalry Command, which I have in second for Tim Salzman.
Yeah.
And Kevin Gomez, I'm assuming you have some info on the sibling. Otherwise, do you want me to take that?
Go right ahead.
Okay, the sibling, Mischief Free, was a decent third and second at Golden Gate with that first and second try, so that's very, very good. To me, that's the biggest note I got on this horse, and then a couple of decent works coming in. Would have loved to see a 5/8, but for the Salzman barn, they tend to do a lot of 3 and 4 furlong workouts, but I'm seeing more 4 than 3 as of late leading up into this race, which I do like.
You like that better than the 3?
I do.
Would you rather seen a 5/8 sometimes? I like seeing a
Absolutely.
little bit longer to just kind of
no.
build that stamina, but they might already have it and just try to keep the horses sharper.
I'm saying for the barn, I'm seeing more
The
4 than
trend.
3, which
Yep.
I like. I rarely see a 5, which I would love to see. I would love to see at least a 5 furlong workout. And I would at least love to see ultimately 3 5 furlong workouts, at least one coming from the gate. But for the barn, just noticing a bit of a barn trend. These are some decent leading works for this barn coming in for the first time.
Yep, everybody's kind of got their own little system that they go by that
Yep.
works. It's trusting. Yeah, 3-year-old half sibling to the 4 Cavalry Command ran back late June at, or was it June of last year at Tampa. Really sharp speed on the grass, but I think we're going to see this. West Coast off to a little slower start with the sprinters, but I'm just not completely enthused with the 2 horses that run. Obviously, Smart and Fast going to take plenty of money against a little better group. Last time I thought Heldish was all right. That was a firster for Brittany, and Freddiness might show that speed from the outside. But let's go for, I think will be a little bit better price with the 4. The 1's a little sneaky. Gina Perry and the owner. They teamed up for a couple bombs at Pimlico, if I remember.
They did.
On the same day, maybe. I mean, it was some big scores. So overanalyzed, that stallion is about 14% with the firster. So I'm just going to take a shot here. Salzman had that winner a couple weeks ago. Maybe he fires back here.
Well, why not? I like
Okay.
it. So then, and then just alluding a little bit to Smart and Fast. Of course, you bring up Heldish last time out. I'm looking at that. Only one other sibling has 1 second time out, so this overall, just any half siblings and siblings have just been taking their time. So the breeding, directly doesn't quite suggest that we're going to get the nail on the head right away. But looking back at that last race, was standing wide in the hind end, and to me it looked like was leaning a little bit back against the gate when the gates opened. So the brake was impeded a little bit, and then when this horse just doesn't get, I think was just a little bit discouraged being in that second heat, going around the turn, gets to the top of the stretch, stays on the left lead the entire time, doesn't really engage. I think this horse just got a little bit encouraged. So depending on in this field, I could see why this horse is your even money favorite currently right now. But let's get on to race number 2. Claiming 40, a mile here on the turf. But before we kick into that, we have Keith's pick 4 early pick 4 that we start. Take it away, Keith.
Knocking on the door. And I talk about this all the time. It's, you can handicap well, but when it gets down to the business, you've got to kind of structure the tickets the right way.
You do.
Boy, I screwed up the other day. Let like an $800 early pick 4 go by. You take the top 3 selections and roll with them. You hit it, but that's why you play the game. You live and you learn with these tickets. So we've got just a $16 ticket. I'm not looking to hit the grand slam here. Let's get it started with the 3 and the 8. Great idea in Consultant and race 2, leg 1 of that early pick 4. We spread deeper there. Race 3 and 4. We're going to go 4 deep each races. 1, 3, 4, 6. 1, 6, 8, 9. Going to try to beat that favorite, Met in Miami, in the 4th. We use a couple horses there. Wrap it up with a single. She's going to take a ton of play. Hoodoo Land, I like that name. It's Medallia d'Or, 3-year-old filly. Shug coming in. Been a little chilly up north. Strikes pretty good down here, though. And I got Forest Boys with the blinkers on. That was not on the early cut of the PPs. It is on there now. So
Correct.
there we go. There's your single. $16 for the early pick 4.
I love it, but I love that ticket structure that you do have. I enjoy that ticket structure. I like it a lot as far as taking in some going slim, and then really if you're gonna go wide, you absolutely go wide, and then either double or single it. So I love the setup of that ticket. But kicking into race number 2, you and I both have a great idea. The number 3 picked on top. We've got a video or a video highlight with Mike Merriman, Javian Toledo in the irons today. But looking back. Just looking back at this one, back at July 4th, last time out, got a little bit of the trip. Obviously, just couldn't get to that runaway winner.
He's run a couple good races of late. Had a little issue with Parks. This race, no help up front. Power Back was able to just kind of go ahead and dictate, but finishes up quite well. I think this horse sustains a run. There's a little bit of pace in here with HRH Jelly Bean to go with Cosmicality. I think the main opposition. It's going to be Consultant, who had issues a couple races back, and that allowance race was stalled a little bit. Will bring a finish, turning back in distance. But I like Great Idea right back. Power Back came back to win against a little better field and got hammered late. That horse dropped from like 9-2 to 2 in a heartbeat. But consistent figures. Sits a trip from the inside and will grind it out.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I see it. Maybe not getting, like you said, not getting any help with the speed last time. Maybe placed a little bit further up. I like how that horse made a great run after leader once he was clear. 2 back. That was an ideal trip over this distance. Hopefully he just really gets that type of trip again. Again, you said Consultant, Mike Trombetta, Victor Carrasco had too much going on the front end. I thought last time out, couldn't get a better post for this potential trip for this race today. Has some and also on top of that has some versatility, going to back on the rail mid-pack, shied in between horses, but once he got into the clear, then again, like Great Idea, was ready to rock and roll. So that it'll be interesting to see how that sets up, especially with Cosmicality and HRH Jelly Bean, how those two are going to influence each other as far as that kind of speed play, how that plays out.
Yep, I think Never Silence as well will bring a little bit into the front end there. We'll be pressing that issue. So it sets up nice. Well, we always think it's going to. It looks like it's going to set up well for the 3 and the 8.
Definitely. So let's kick into my pick 6, but I have a carryover. This starts race 3 today. We have a 10 grand, almost kicking to 11,000 for that pick 6 carryover, which does start in race number 3. I snapped a ticket. I brought up a ticket. I couldn't get on like you, Keith, I couldn't get myself landing on a single. I could have gotten a little bit wider in a couple of these. I like Early Rose for Anthony Ferrier in this opener. Race number 4, of course, I've got to go with Met in Miami. I thought about going with Pound Music, but Evangeline alone, I feel like they're going to take a little bit of a different approach with her. First off of the claim, I've gotten on her a couple times in the morning. I have a feeling they know what they're going to do with her, and it's going to fit with her very well. Race number 5, Hoodoo Land has some nice breeding, a half sibling to just really get some strong suggestion with that early money favorite. Race number 6, I love these 3. My Chargina Icy Reply deemed essential. I think that is going to line up to be a nice race. I absolutely love how competitive I think that's going to be in the last 16th. Race number 7, the mile and 16th on the dirt. I just doubled down with that. I'm pretty confident in Walkaway Joe coming off of the layoff for Dale Capuano, but I do like how Ferrier Stiff is going to be coming in first off of the claim for Anthony Ferrier. I think that's very, very interesting. Race number 8, Can't Deny Luminous. Might be able to deny him a little bit, just being on that rail again. I'm worried about the trip if she doesn't get in the ideal position, but Flimsy to back that up with Graham Motion, second, third after the layoff, stretching out, should benefit really, really well for a ticket of $43.20 just to get you started. But let's kick in to race number 3. This claiming 25, 7 furlongs on the dirt, and you've got a stat on your first pick for 12 o'clock rock for Kieran McGee. I can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, it's a limited stat, small sample, but I've got another one to kind of feed along with this one as well. But
Okay.
here we go. Last 3 years. Kieran, 3 for 7, 43%, 4 for 7 in the money. First off the claim and going turf to dirt. Okay, 12 o'clock rock with that maiden score. Yeah, and Kieran, when he claims these horses off of a win, it's 34%, 11 for 32 over the last 3 years. That's pretty strong for Kieran. He's been on a pretty good run of late. His horses kind of run all over, man. He takes them wherever, and they win. They've done a great job. But the 12 o'clock rock, the one dirt try, not so good. But that was without blinkers.
Right.
His horse has improved of late. Some speed in this race. I'm not thinking this girl's going to be too far back. I like the finish that she brought. She finally put it together last time, working out a trip. Now, Sensen, I think is going to be tough in here. Yeah, she got away with kind of softer fractions when battling, but she went a long way.
She did.
And held on pretty well last time. So I think 12 o'clock rock has got to be within range by the time they hit the quarter pole to wear her down. Let's look at this race. Yeah, I forgot we had a video here of Sensen. And this is what I call the death trip. What do you think as a rider, Callie? When you're in this situation.
Oh, right here, right now?
Yeah,
Awful.
on a speed horse. and you see the short comment I put in there just to kind of give you that visual. A long battle between. Now, they weren't going super fast, but still, that's got to kind of fry the horse a little bit.
Absolutely, I think, and especially with a need the lead type in between two horses, and this is a horse that if she's not going to be getting the lead, she needs a little bit of reprieve. So to be able to handle that battling in between, I very well worded on the chart, Keith. I do like, and look, she still digs in and she's still game on. It's just too much for her, and like you said, you took the words out of my mouth, fried the brain a little bit, especially with these fillies, because they try so hard in the beginning, and when it's all out in the beginning, there's only so much she can offer. She did most of her running in that front end of the race. But that's my only concern about her in general, is that she is a bit of the need the lead type. So I was fighting with her on and off of my ticket. Again, looking at what are possible speeds in here, there's a little bit of possible speed on the inside, especially with Carlos Lopez on the horse. So but actually looking at this field, that's really the only speed that I see handling at this distance. So hey, why not go for the stretch, especially going a little bit longer, going back to that 7 furlongs, and maybe able to get a little bit of reprieve this time. And that's my only concern, just maybe bouncing back, might bounce a little bit from running so hard, and they can get discouraged a little bit. So it all depends on the trip for this filly. So I like her, but I just cautiously left her off of my ticket for today. The talent's there, the try's there. Hopefully she'll get the trip that she does get. Gets a little bit of a better trip than last time out. Yeah,
she was second on the go back to Noble Bid. We've seen Noble Bid recently for Damon. Really ring the bell, shot an 85 the other day, and I just do think she's going to be a little bit more relaxed with a slight drop in class, maybe catches the right kind of field here to sit and bring a little bit more punch. But she tried valiantly, I thought, to about the 16th pole in there.
She
so
did.
1-6-6-1 for me. I'll toss in the 4. It's just the Farrier barn trying to get on track. A little bit shaky right now.
Yeah, but so 2 barn trends. I get a little shaky because he's, you know what, he's gone. He's shaky because he's gone down as a barn trend. He's gone down from that first after the claim from about 30% to 26%. So that's where I can see a little bit shaky. Still strong from that route to sprint, even though this is an elongated sprint, so I'm not quite counting this as a sprint, especially with a little bit of the way this is set up. But looking at this horse looking at the timeline with this horse with Eddie Keneally, broke the maiden and then tried for higher than probably should have. She's pretty one-paced, and the last time she broke out slow because she was pretty restless in the gate. So she was I always like to look at them in the gate before the gates pop open. That tells you a lot about that first 16th of the trip that they get, and she had a little bit of issues, shaking her head. There was just a little bit of commotion going on, and I think that did take away from her break a little bit. There's a little bit of a curve on that chute over at Churchill Downs. I think she's going to absolutely relish this straightaway chute that we have here at Laurel Park. So why not? Why not go for it?
Yeah, that is a little tricky. Called a lot of charts at Churchill, and that mile, that configuration there onto the track, it can get a little bit dicey. The big positive for her, I think, is the winner of that last race came back around a strong figure Sunday, ran a 73 at Ellis. for 30. So yeah, I'm not completely against her. I've got her in the ticket
Right.
in the Big Four, but
But you're looking for some price.
a little
Some
bit
price.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
we'll see.
totally fair.
Okay.
And that's a fair race to be doing that in. So
Okay.
I just kind of went for I went for the obvious intrigue. You went for a couple of there's a lot of different ways you can go in that race. But let's kick on to race
Okay.
number 4, that claiming 25 for that mile and 16th here on the turf, and you land on Pounding Music, which with Linda Albert, Yomar Ortiz got the perfect trip and breaking maiden score and asked at the 8th. Then my viewpoint. Why don't give your viewpoint on the horse and let's see if I can fill any gaps.
I just think she's got to save a little ground. I think she's run the right kind of races, falls into this group that should be right to her liking. Nobody with a ton of early lick to kind of soften her up. If she's able to kind of stay no worse than maybe too wide around the racetrack, relax a little bit off the speed, I think she brings the punch. The maiden breaking try off the bench was good from just off the pace. I'd love to see her kind of covered up just in behind the leaders. If we can work out that trip, I'll be thrilled, and maybe pull a little upset over the one who's going to get plenty of play here for Grand Motion.
That was it with Pounding Music for me. So I'm looking at that win and thinking that was the perfect situation, and then we go to the next one back and two back on the turf, and I think was asked for her to push for it and be a little bit more forwardly placed than what she would have liked. Keep her confident, keep her secure, keep her boxed in. I think she loved that boxed in, just that nice garden spot last time out where she could be comfortable and be within herself. But then, of course, moving on again with that Grand Motion horse, met in Miami, broke maiden on an inside move, but lately it seems to have been gotten her selective as she doesn't totally love that inside pressure last trip. So excuses, too long last out. She didn't break, a bit one pace. She has a slight turn of foot from that Tampa dirt run. I still think that she is the type that needs to have a little bit of clean air in front of her. So that's why I'm a little bit cautious on my ticket with her.
Yeah, she gives up a little bit early, gives up too much, I should say. She has a tendency to break a little slowly out of these races, but this is the right spot. Right now she's shown. She's not really there as an allowance.
Right.
Filly first level. Not close in range, but this is the move. Owners, you keep trying. You want to get the win. So this is the spot. Hopefully she can sustain a run. She's going to be a shorter price. I'll take a little higher price with Pounding Music because I think Pounding Music will get the jump on her. You talked about Evangeline Alonso. You had a little scoop. You were just teasing us with it. So what do you got? What are the plans with this 8-horse?
She's a bit of that steady type. She needs to be close to it at the quarter pole. She has to be the type to go off, and this filly is never going to be the type to go off and win the by 5. That's just not quite her personality. That's just for me. Hopping on her a couple of times, no matter what kind of field she's in, she's just very consistent. She's very steady in the way that she goes around there in the track in the mornings, and that type of style also transfers to the dirt as well. And look how she broke her maiden score. She was sitting right off of it, right in the clear of it, and then you go forward to that May of this year, 1st of May, and that starter optional. She was a little bit further back, and she only was able to offer so much and make up so much ground. So it's when they lose, to me, when I look at horses sometimes, I go off by how much they lose and where they're at in the field, and that's kind of what they have to offer if they get a clear trip. So for me, she's just sitting right off of the pace of any kind of pacemaker that we have.
Yeah, I like her off the claim. They must like what they got. They're jumping her up a little bit, right, from 16 to 25. I just wish she had an inside draw. I've watched some of her races. She makes that little move, and she's got a tendency to flatten just a little bit. At a mile, maybe I'd like her a little bit stronger than a mile and 16th. He's going to have to work out. I think it's a tough decision. Go and try to drop in early, maybe be on the lead or be the pace, or sit a covered up trip. She's had both. It's that last 16th. I'm going to use her in the exactas though.
Fair enough. And when she did take the lead in the Salima, I think she was against, she's in a better field now. So if she takes the lead, if she is the pacemaker, that's a good experiment to do with as well. It fits her very well. But let's, before we hit into race number 5, 6, 7, and 8, let's get to a commercial really quick. We'll be right back.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
don't forget that when you do sign up for that first bet promotion, Fast 100, you get $100 into your account. But let's kick on to that maiden special. Wait a mile here on the dirt, and we both land on Hoodoo Land. This is a nice filly for Shug McGahee with the blinkers on. We've got a video spotlight coming up. Forest Boys, typical rider for Forest Boys. But let's take a look at this break.
Yeah, just not the break you really kind of want. Off a little bit slow and a little bounce around, and that's enough. You get kind of inexperienced, and just wasn't able to really kind of put it all together. But I think Hoodoo Land, when all said and done, really makes a pretty good run up the inside. Willing, the World Traveler, came back to gallop, that third place finisher at Monmouth with a 65 number. 65 number is going to, buyer figure, is going to win this race. And she's given a little bit of time off. She came back in July, and again, a little issue out of the gate, and had a good trip. There was a three-prong battle up front. They were going at it, and she tipped to the outside and just didn't quite carry home. But, man, she's meant to be a good one. She's a half to the Grade 1 winning, Grade 2 winning Salty.
Yep.
I'll give her a little pass. The blinkers go on. A little bit of pace to kind of run out in here. I think with the blinkers and a good break, she's not going to be far off of it. She should bring the finish and appreciate the mile distance.
Here's the thing, in looking back at that video spotlight, she was a bit sprawled out in those gates. She wasn't completely square. She didn't get the cleanest break on either one of them. So you're talking about a filly who's meant to go long. Shug probably did the right thing and just gave her some experience going short, getting that race experience out of her. She was behind a Ray Handel and a Chad Brown runner who are both haven't run yet. I haven't checked to see if they are entered yet, but I know they're going to be gearing up for Saratoga.
Yeah.
So again, Salty, La Touraine winner.
Yes.
She's meant to go long. I think these were good experience rides. We get the blinkers on, and that barn with the first time route, the barn is really, actually, as a barn trend as of late, nearly 50% in the money with the barn trend as with the first time route. So a lot of things adding into this. Forest Boys, blinkers on, first time route, which is what she's meant to do. So she's doing. She gets that trip. I think we don't need to say anything more.
We saw
about
another
that
Shug horse win down here. You see June 26, Texian, Texian, who really didn't quite have the form of Hoodoo Land, and she was able to get it done at a shorter price against Ladra DeFici, Milady Thatcher, both these two, the 5 and the 6. They're going to be pace presences, the 5 putting blinkers on. I'm trying to boost the exact a little bit if I do get the favorite home, because she could easily be maybe 3 to 5 in here. I might have her lined a little too high at even. Divine Fashion, I think, might be okay transferring to there. It's a little bit of a speed lean when I looked at the breeding, but some close in both starts at 5.5 on the grass. Divining Ride, Caleb. I think she's going to be able to transition and make a little run from off the pace at this mile distance. I
agree. I like how this horse, I like how she was stretching out. Surprisingly, from Mike Trombetta, one of his stronger stats is a 19% at turf to dirt as of lately, so I like that, and I think might just need a race stretching up for the first time. That's the only, but I do like, another couple of barn trends that I'm hitting up with you. Nearly 50% from turf to dirt, and then also nearly 50% from sprint to route. So definitely good enough for being underneath for both of our selections with Divine Fashion. And especially watching her in that last turf outing, wheels were spinning, but she wasn't quite going anywhere. So I think routing her is definitely the way to go. You also have Larda DeFici underneath.
Yes.
Again, just suggesting that this is where this horse needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, blame topside. I think stretching out's going to be okay. Sweet on Sunday. That was an old Claudio horse, if I remember right. Going on the go back. I like the improvement. 3 starts recently. Improve. Speed was dead game last time to touch. Just a little bit of a fade late giving ground, but will be a forward factor a long way in here.
Big time. My Lady Thatcher getting the blinkers on just to add a little bit of straightness. Hasn't had a little bit of green goes in the last go. But race number 6 is a claiming 16, 5.5 on the turf, which I've never won 2 for the girls. We both land on Chargina for Tom Beattie, Victor Carrasco. Tom Beattie shipping in and essentially back on the turf where she is best for the most part. She's had a couple of outliers in there at Presque Isle with all of the trainers that have gone through her, but Tom Beattie just taking her back to what she did well coming into this season.
A little bit like Met Miami. I mean, she looked like she should have been maybe a little bit better when it was all, previous, when you always got your hopes up, but just really hasn't quite panned out. 1 for 16, but 7 for 16 in the money. The two-back try was good. She has had a perfect trip. She was inside, worked outside, had every right to win between horses, just couldn't quite kick on with that winner. But that winner came back to win on the step up. I think there's a slew of speed in here. Something's got to give. She looks like the one that's going to have your best run from the back of the pack. I think Sydney Sue is a value horse. We have a video, right?
Yes.
Going back. Sydney Sue is 1 for 29. The lone win at Laurel Park over this turf course. So that helps my chances a little bit. Look at this rerun, though, down at Tampa. We're going back to March the 23rd off of a couple-month break. This wasn't too bad, though. Pinched back at the break. Kind of gave up some ground, but recovered. Was able to recover. Closed up probably 5 or 6 lengths from the top of the stretch. Now got the little 8 of a battle. There's going to be a battle up front today. This is going to be a very honest pace in race 6 over the turf
Look at
course.
that, though.
Kicking on late. And this is what you get, though, for these 1 for 29 horses, Callie, right? They just give you a little tease every time.
Teaser,
But I think you're going to get a square price somewhere in that 8 to 10 to 12 to 1 range. A value user in your exotics, maybe bet a couple bucks to win, and then use an exactas with Chargina.
Sure.
And if then, a little bomb for me for Hammy. I'll talk about the 10 real quick.
Yes. Playing
that closing angle. This filly has never crossed the wire first. Was put up in debut for the lone win, but does have a closing finish. Second dam, 3 for 13 and 8 for 13 in the money. A little bit of a reach, but I think things could fall apart here in the 6th.
Keith Fustel with a little couple
bomb.
of not only 1 but 2 value plays coming up in race number 6. So let's kick on to race number 7 then. That starter optional 30. Mile and 16th on the dirt. We both land on Walk Away Joe coming off of the layoff for Dale Capuano, which as of lately that hasn't been Dale's strong suit. So normally he was on fire earlier this year, but he's wind down a little bit in that first off of the layoff, but has had a couple of scratches. The past 4 entries have been scratches, MTO scratches. We get back to where Walk Away Joe needs to be today.
Yeah, this horse off the break. This is, did very well off the claim. Now giving some time, and now it's kind of like his horse, right? Working gangbusters into this. Look at the steady increase in distances. Times are very good, 27 handily out of the gate. This horse is working like a good horse right now. Some horses that are in and out of form, good position to the inside, but you noted, little asterisks. He's 0 for 6 off 180 day or more layoff with these dirt routers the last couple of years. That does concern me, but he went out with a bang. Let's hope he comes back with a bang to sit that trip from the inside. Fortune's Fool, Caribbean. Who's going to try to go to the front? We shall see. I think Walk Away Joe will be lurking at the 3/8.
Walk Away Joe will be looking at the 3/8. Indeed, just to be curious about the Anthony Ferrier horse, because I'm having an Anthony Ferrier day coming from Mike.
You and Anthony Ferrier,
I don't know.
I don't
know. I don't know either. But going to see a similar type of run that we saw last time out with Mike McCarthy. Has only had several weeks off. And just looking at the pattern of this horse force benefits from 45 days in between. And look what happens when he ran under Steve and under Tom. Just had that month break in between. It didn't get fired. Then Mike gives this horse some time in between races and fires. It starts to get going and get the gist on the horse, then starts to understand, hey, this horse needs some time in between races, and then we get fired up, and then we hit Anthony Ferrier, who runs this horse 3 weeks back. That's my only thing. I think they're running this horse a little bit too short after claiming it.
Okay. I honestly, the 7th, I liked Closer Look. He was going to be my play, but unfortunately he scratched, so kind of defaulted into Walk Away Joe. So if you're playing the multi-race, and I will be playing, I will be hitting the all button in here.
Okay.
I am not, sold on anybody. So
Right.
that's my approach.
It's a good race to hit the all button, especially with the scratch going on, because I was also looking at Pit Boss, and I had Pit Boss on and off of my ticket.
Yeah.
So here we go. But let's get into the nightcap of the day, that maiden 45, a mile and 16th on the dirt. We both land on Luminous 4. Brittany Russell trying to come back with a vengeance, coming back into Merrill, coming back off of that layoff, and coming back pretty strongly.
Yeah, a little issue into the first turn. You see the short comment in tight. Blinkers that day, second blinks today. 2 scratches, Bourbon Gypsy, the 5 and the 6 self-assured. They were going to be part of the pace flow. So advantage maybe to Flimsy. Flimsy gets a major assist. I'm going to try to beat Flimsy. Luminous, I think, will sustain the run. Had no flow to go into last time.
Right.
That horse at Trombetta was able to kind of walk the dog up front. I think you're going to get a little bit better punch here. Brittany Russell trying to pick things up. Empire Miss a first, or maybe to use longer time into the races. Pesaro was all right, 4 for 14, 121K. Won its only turf start. Second Dan Miss Legality. This horse is a half to Mata. Mata we're going to see in the stakes on Saturday. Really good turf sprinter. Let's see if Empire Miss can kind of take it towards the front. But Flimsy, a little stat on motion. Yeah, I hate giving negative stats on trainers, but if I read this right, 1 for 36. 1 for 36 sprinter routes on the turf over the last few years.
Okay.
So I just put Flimsy into the winner's circle, wire to wire, probably.
Probably,
Okay.
but hey, Flimsy, first time out of all siblings stretching out onto the turf. Hasn't been getting super clean breaks, especially last time out again. But again, wheels spent a little bit. I can understand why, and of course, I feel like this is also just a grand motion thing. Just try putting this horse. Why not try? Why not try putting this horse? Why not try holding on? Absolutely. With Luminous, I just hope that Luminous can be placed a little bit more forwardly. I'm not gonna say this filly isn't not brave when it comes to bumping in between traffic that last the eighth of a mile leading up to the wire. But this filly, again, just help her out a little bit. She did try hard enough last time, especially on coming in from that same type of rail post position. So just give her a little bit of a break. She'll get her popped out of that gates a little bit more. I also have self-assured. I thought about having self-assured underneath, but then we both have. Let's see, what do we both
You got Nibbles in there.
Nibbles.
Farrier.
Hey, let's talk about Farrier. Let's
All right,
let's talk about another Farrier horse. Drifted in, not quite, a bit drifted in last time out. The 2 turns could. I am a little bit concerned about that 2 turns. I like that 1 turn mile for this one. And it was an off the turf event, to be sure. So we're back entered to where this Nibbles was originally entered for. So why not? Let's give it a go. Give this horse a little bit of clearance. I like that, despite the fact it's a mile and 16th, plenty of room. I like the outside post for Nibbles.
Yeah, Nibbles by Candy Ride. Candy Rides, as we know, they can run on anything. Does have a half sibling that was 4 for 6 in the money on the turf with a 71 top buyer figure. That's your card.
There we go. Keith Fusel with the top buyer figures. But let's dig into lightning round, where we've got a couple of updates for you. PDJF day on Saturday. Here we go. We've got, of course, our jockey dunk tank fundraiser coming in Saturday. I keep thinking it's Friday, but just the update. You get a chance to dunk any one of these 5 jockeys so far. Victor Carrasco is first in line to get dunked. Then we've got Angel Cruz, J-Ron Barbosa, Kevin Gomez, and Carlos Lopez so far. If I wasn't out of town, I'd be lining up to get every single one of those guys into the dunk tank. So be sure to come try and get your favorite or not so favorite jockey soaked to raise money for a wonderful cause on PDJF Day. Let's kick in to Super Love, who is entered for the start of the Nebraska Stakes. 7 furlongs on the dirt. Just has been making just a nice, flourishing, blossoming career. And finally, we've been waiting for the Super Love to just make a stakes debut. Picks up a sired Maryland bred stakes. It's perfect setup for the start of Nebraska. I love the 7 furlongs on the dirt for Super Love.
Yeah, Super Love, a couple races back, you saw that 2-back race against Rominsky. Was able to kind of sit outside. Last time out was sent. Really keen, eager to go through the wire. Ran through the wire with a big number, 91 buyer. That kind of stuck out. But, man, this is a good race. the start of NASCAR. Al Loves Josie is very fast.
Yes.
Something might have to give on the front end. We're going to see the real talent. You know, what Super Love has. Jerry Rob's loaded with a couple horses in there. Uncle Irish might be lurking from the back of the pack.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got some good stakes set aside on Saturday. Not monster fields, but man, are they contentious. Marie Kazenko's done. We talk about it. It's tough this time of year to put these fields together. There's no real singles amongst any of them. So good competitive fields lie ahead for Saturday.
Especially with Super Love. I feel like Super Love, every time it's been entered, it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is the right time for the right challenge for this horse, and Super Love has been answering that call
yes, he
and
has.
that challenge every single time, so it's going to be super interesting the way the Star NASCAR sets up of how he's going to answer that challenge. But let's kick on. We've got a food truck festival coming up that we just wanted to highlight on August 20th, 12 to 6. Free admission. Come on over. Enjoy the races. Enjoy some nice food trucks coming in. Get more info at laurelpark.com to check out what food trucks are going to be coming up.
Exactly. Can't wait to see who we've got in store. That should be good. Always love a good food truck or
How can
trucks.
you not?
Yeah, I always get
Who
some
doesn't
different
love a good food truck festival?
different twist on things. I like that. Yep.
Love it, love it. And then on top of another feast, food fest, we've got the Crack and Crab Feast that I wanted to highlight for Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. This is Maryland. We do crabs, we do horse racing. We haven't found to fit in football and horse racing yet, but hey, we've got 2 out of 3 for you here at Laurel Park starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Get your tickets, laurelpark.com, as per usual, and get your table in to enjoy some crab cracking and some racing in the background. And then we also have, let's just kick into your best bet of the day.
Best bet. We're going to get this done early. Race number 2, number 3. Great idea for Micro Merriman. Let's get it done from off the pace. Little value play. We talked about it. A horse that's going to be a little bit of a price here. I think
Sydney
8,
Sue.
yes, in race number 6.
Yes.
Number 7, Sydney Sue, got lined at 8-1. Only win over this turf course. A lot of speed. Not saying she's going to win it, but I think to boost maybe those exactus tries and supers, you're going to see this horse make a run from the back of the pack.
There we go. We've got all of the info from Keith Fustel on a nice handicapping day here at Laurel Park. We're just going to wait on Dave Rodman for changes and scratches.
All right, good luck.